So what are you doing, man? I see you like you're on ESPN. You're all over the place. You're doing a bunch of awesome
So
stuff. Tell me.
so college football and college basketball for ESPN. That keeps me busy most of football and basketball season. More basketball than football, which is great. And then I'll do like next week, I'm doing the Big 12 softball tournament for ESPN. And then summer's a little slower, right? It's like I have my show that I do every day, the Pete Souza Show, which is live on YouTube, live on X. And that's gained a lot of traction, which is cool because it started off just me in a room
Right.
a year ago. This media company here in Central Texas was like, we want to do a show with you. And now it's grown and it's grown by every day, getting your hands dirty, right? Doing the work, awkward situations, failure. So that's cool. It feels good. Like there's self-esteem in that having built this show out, that I feel like we're just starting. So that's a lot of fun. And then still doing, the podcast about sobriety, the payoff with Pete Stories of Sobriety. We just put up a new episode yesterday. So it's going good. I this time of year can be tough for me because I'm not as busy, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
And I think that it forces me to get a little introspective. I have noticed, and you'll appreciate this because it's sort of deep. I just had this self-reflection yesterday or 2 days ago. I have such a fear of being lazy that I pack my schedule with action stuff all the time because I don't necessarily trust myself with time alone because I'll just be like, I'll just shut it down, which is good, I think, to a degree, but I don't allow myself that grace at all anymore. So this is always an interesting time of year for me. It really is a time for me to get more into sobriety, more into AA, more into like that kind of connection, because that's where I get like most of my fulfillment from, if I'm truly being honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's. I think that it sounds to me like it gives you the fulfillment that fuels you for fuels you in life and in general, but for the whole year. And then a lot of people, as you said, like you keep yourself busy because we thrive in momentum, right? And we're nervous that we lose momentum, we slow down. That's bad, right? I told one of our team members yesterday. He's guy's incredible. He's such a hard worker and he's very productive. He's like at the top. And he's like, I want to do this and I want to do this. And I said, everyone wants to go all out and be beast mode. I said, I wish I could have some of my teammates speak to you about my understanding of going hard. But I said, first of all, I said, but they don't believe it. They don't, I swear, Pete, they don't believe it. Like they think, I swear, you know what I get a lot? Mark, he's so zen. He's so relaxed. And I go, brother, I'm 48 years old. It took me a long time to get here. Like that wasn't always
25, 26, 27 years ago. It was a much different story. But do you feel, but let me turn it back on you. Do you feel like without that edge, without that almost insanity that you utilized every day on the football field, you would have been as successful?
That's a great question, man. Like I say, like, I had a therapist on the show and we were talking, she's awesome. She spends time in prisons, jails, and talking to like these, serious offenders, like, I mean, real stuff. And she asked me about that. And I said, the only reason I played football, because there was nothing at the time. There was a lot of reasons I played, but the main reason was there was nothing at the time that I could take my aggression in out and be violent. Like, I'm not kidding at all. And I said, the reason why I was a good football player, if you looked on the football field, I was actually the most aggressive young person. And I mean, you were there. So, I mean, it's not a fabrication. I mean, you tell me,
no, not at all.
If I'm delusional, please tell me, tell everyone for all I care. Like, but that's what I was really good at. Like, that was the main thing. Right. So, but to answer your question, I think that, yeah, you need that. Like the most, life now for probably both of us is all about creating some sense of balance.
Yes.
And the people who thrive there, if we're being honest, are the most unbalanced human beings around. I mean, that's just what it is, you know?
Yeah.
So I felt like I just talked to a young man this week who we were thinking about hiring for the team. And he said, you know, I used to pull from, like, there's a lot of people who don't believe in me and that I got to prove everyone wrong. He said, now I want to prove people right, like the people who believe in me. And I was like, that makes perfect sense. So in the sports arena, you're doing something. There's a lot of people who say, I can't make it. I got to make it. I got to make it. I got to get mine. That turns off at a certain point. Like, meaning, like, you can only pull from the darkness for so long. And
Yeah.
at some point you have to say, wait a minute, my mother believes in me. Coach Reed believes in me. Pete believes in me. My friends believe in me. I got to prove them right. I don't want to let them down. And I believe there's longevity in pulling from that. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And I found that in my own life in sobriety, like, and I still struggle with the balance because I do need some of that. You know, there was a point in time, like, 13, 14 years ago before I got sober, I had not a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. All sure, addiction, the disease, that's a huge part of it. But also, I was responsible for a lot of that damage. But I also felt resentful because of that's just the unhealthiness in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I've saved like that 2% of resentments still. And that's, I'm not saying it's right, but I dip into those a lot of times now. I'm like, I still have that thing. Like, I am going to show them.
Yeah.
There were people like, 15 years ago who were like, that guy is a big F up as you could ever be.
Yeah.
And, like, he'll never make anything of himself. And I hear those voices, I play more on a loop. The voicemails or the conversations where I was told you're not good enough right now. And this is in sobriety, right? Recently, or the emails, hey, we're not looking, or the non-responses, right? That are deafening, right? The no response, right? From a job or from a person or from somebody you reach out to. Like, that stuff still motivates me, but I need to be careful with that. That's why it's great to surround myself with people like you.